Hey y'all, just wanted to issue a couple of comments on the governor's recent statements regarding public health orders because obviously, as you can imagine, my phone is blowing up with texts and calls on what does it mean? What does this mean? What's the governor doing? Is he lifting the emergency? Let me explain to you what I heard the governor say and what I see in writing as to my interpretation. The governor's statement was confusing because he did not, his written statement, I'll get to his verbal statement he made in a minute. His written statement did not say that he was lifting the emergency. His written statement said that he was not renewing public health orders, as he stated. And thankfully, he did encourage the big six counties, as he called them, to remove any remaining business restrictions and mask mandates. Again, a good thing. However, he gave them until Memorial Day weekend to do that, which is a month from now, roughly. And the current emergency orders and Executive Order 77, which is the renewed order that extends powers to local health departments and county mayors to make mandates, expires tomorrow on the 28th by midnight. So my question first off from the governor's statement is he did state in his written statement that there is no emergency. So he said those words. He actually put in writing that COVID-19 is not an emergency in the state of Tennessee, again, which I appreciate him saying. The problem is if the emergency expires tomorrow and some counties or county mayors are going to keep mandates until Memorial Day, an additional 30 days, then from where do they get the authority to do so? And this is why I continue to do these videos and say the things that I say, because these things are critical. If a governing official does not have the authority to do something, then how is it that they do it? And how is it that you and I consent to them doing it? Anyway, so if you go watch the governor's verbal statement, he gave a press conference. He was asked by a reporter about the state of emergency, and the governor acknowledges now that he didn't acknowledge in his written statement that he will be extending the state of emergency. So understand what's happening. The state of emergency is still being extended. We are still in a papered emergency. He said to take care of some economic regulatory issues. He also acknowledged that it was to keep federal funding. And he said that it would be a limited state of emergency. I would also speculate that if you did not have a declared state of emergency, it might be difficult to issue a vaccine which is only authorized under emergency use and not fully FDA approved. I would have to gather that that also has something to do with it. But here's my two final issues with what we're facing now with these emergency orders. So the governor did say he is going to renew the emergency. So just so that everyone's clear, the emergency itself is not expiring. We are still in a declared emergency, even though he said COVID is not an emergency. Okay, but I digress. He says that he's not renewing public health orders. Well, guess what Executive Order 77 is? It's a public health order. So Executive Order 77 expires tomorrow, which means that county mayors and the local health departments would have no more authority to issue business restrictions and mask mandates. The governor said he's not renewing those orders, but he says that these departments and county mayors have until Memorial Day to remove these restrictions. So my question to Governor Bill Lee is, if you are you're renewing the emergency, but if you're not going to renew Executive Order 77, then you need to let the people of Tennessee know, where do these health departments and these county mayors continue to draw authority for the next 30 days to issue any mandates whatsoever? That's an incredibly important question to answer, because we need to know how our government's operating. And currently, it hadn't been operating properly for a year, but it's certainly not going to be operating properly for the next 30 days because, again, we're just making stuff up. My final question to the governor is, and to school districts across the state, we have already seen that school districts plan to reopen in the fall with mask mandates. We already have a lawsuit in Williamson County challenging a school's authority to issue a mask mandate, which, by the way, hey, Judge Binkley, we met on December 21st. We're almost in May, brother. So a ruling on our case would be fantastic. But that hasn't come yet. In any case, our question is, school boards and superintendents have supposed that they have the authority to make mandates because there is an emergency, because the health department said so, or because their county mayor gave them some sort of mysterious authority to do it from the executive order. So the question to the governor, to school boards is, if there's no more, when the emergency expires, and when Executive Order 77 expires, from where do you get your authority to issue any such mandates over our children? And over your staff, by the way. Last little bit, Davidson County has also announced today, in conjunction with the governor's announcement, that they are removing all restrictions in Davidson County except for the mask mandate. So again, I would ask Mayor John Cooper, for the next 30 days until Memorial Day, where does your authority come from to continue issuing a mask mandate if the governor is not going to renew Executive Order number 77? Anyway, so just a little bit of clarity, because there's still a bunch of confusion. Everybody's cheering that our emergency is going away. I'm just telling you the truth. The emergency is not going away. We're still in a state of emergency. And this is all very confusing. Though I have to tell you, I'm excited to see things opening up. That's great. But if people are going to govern, they have to govern with proper channels of authority over the people by which they govern. And you and I need to know what kind of government that we're consenting to. It's a valid question. So anyway, there's my thoughts on what I just heard. And that way you're in the know. Happy emergency renewal day, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, thank you guys. Love you. God bless. Bye-bye.